All right. Let's do stuff. Okay. Welcome. All right, so I've got some stuff. I've got started on... I gotta move some things over to the side some. Okay, there we go. Boom, a little bit better. All right. Oh, wow, you got a cool name. Sepper. There you are, no echo. Yes. Oh, hello. Okay, so anybody who was here for the ZBrush Live knows that kind of what it is that we did. We have, the little bit that we did to kind of fix some issues that I felt like I was having with the face. I still feel like I'm having issues with the face, but we'll get there. It might be a matter of like taking either the lower part of the face and moving it back just a smidge. In fact, let me try it. Let me just see, for the sake of playing with it. And then we also kind of got some that's a little bit better. I kind of like that a little bit better. It feels a little bit more natural in the way that it's lining up with the rest of the head. I might feel different later. I always do, right? So, yeah. Anyway, so we went ahead and we kind of made some changes to the face. This is where we started off. This is where we ended up. Okay, we changed the hair so that it felt a little bit more dynamic. This is the sketch that I did. In fact, let me go ahead and turn up my opacity while we're talking. I did this little sketch last night to be able to figure out some hair shape. Yeah, just kind of fun, right? Just trying to have some fun with it. I feel like she's going in a much better direction. We lowered the hips a little bit, and then we also worked on hands some. I will likely want to try to finesse hands a little bit more at some point, but for right now, I think it's just fine. The thing that I want to work on now is creating some shape language and some plane changes for the arm anatomy to try to define these a little bit better. So some of these things would include like creating like a bicep plane, if you will. So I'm going to take this edge right here. Let's start kind of pulling it toward the other edge. And after I've started pulling it, just to give it a little bit of I'll say a head start, I'll soften my mask and I'll pull with it. So that way it's kind of giving it a little bit, the term I used was a head start, and it's kind of exactly what it is that I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to create something of a flatness there. I'm trying to create a strong, a stronger plane change, really. So like right in here, I'm going to have to go through and check in on our proportions. And then I also want to try to work on getting some shape in here. So I'm wanting to try to get, like, for instance, right here, we're getting like this, like kind of almost a straight out. It's got a slight curve to it, a slight bend, and a slight twist. But it's got a slight it's pretty straight. So this is going to be like one of its own curve, and then this has a break, and it's going to curve the opposite direction. So that's going to help to create some sort of like a dynamic flow to the muscle, to the shape of the arm. Okay, and then I'm just kind of coming in here and trying to refine some shapes of the forearm and the way that the forearm interacts with that upper arm, the way that it interfaces, the way that the pieces fit together. Then I've also got to think about these insertion points, where the bicep inserts into the lower arm. You can see like it's getting to be really rounded here on the front. So I'm just going to start off by smoothing this out a little bit. And I kind of want to get rid of a little bit of that, and a little bit of that. I want to be a little bit more intentional with where it is that I'm getting these peaks. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of pull that up, and maybe I'll pull this down. Try to get a little bit more thick to thin sort of thing going on here. I like the idea of this having like a almost kind of like a tube, like a tapered tube. Let's get this to kind of overlap just a little bit so that it starts off up here and it ends up closer to the edge down here. Yeah, we're just gonna kind of have fun with this, right? We just got to play with it some. Get a little bit of a refined shape for this tricep. Just kind of cozy them out just a little bit. Okay, that shape is kind of bothersome, so I'm going to tweak and play with that. I feel like that might just be just a little too strong. Let's play with that some. Next week I have a character that I have to bang out that's going to have somewhat similar of an arm structure to this character here, I believe. Or what I want to find for this character, I'll say. So I think I'm gonna try to use this as like a practice round, if you will. Yeah, character for work. Let's go ahead and kind of pull out this elbow. I was feeling pretty good. It's definitely feeling much better. This stream isn't going to be super long. This one's probably going to last maybe half an hour or so, maybe a little longer. And then I'll probably go ahead and go play on the VR with the kids or something. They've been really, yeah, we found this game on the Oculus called Moss. And it is awesome. We love it. I love it. It's amazing. It's such a beautifully well done game. I love the aesthetic. I love the gameplay. I think it's really neat because it's third person player adventure game where it's like you're playing on a console, but you're inside of the console. It's such a crazy cool format for a game. I love it. I'd love to make a game like that someday. So neat. trying to kind of work out some of this forearm anatomy close to the wrist. I'm trying to be careful. I mean, I'm trying to look at my own. In fact, I think this forearm probably needs to go to the other side. So I'm gonna soften this a little bit. Maybe ease out that ridge, make it go into the hand a little bit, because that could be cool. But I want to try to kind of just make this feel all right. You know, it's just there's some working and reworking that I've got to do with it to make it feel really decent. Okay, I'm liking that. I like that it has like this little bit of a ridge, and then it just kind of fades off into the arm, and it fades off into the hand. I think that's a pretty neat design element there. I'll have something similar to that with this knuckle, where it'll be prominent, and then it'll fade off into the hand, and it'll fade off into the finger. Let's see. With the wrist, I do want there to be some wrist. Yeah, let's do something like this. I'm trying to control kind of how this curve happens, like what shape this is making with the the way that it dives into the hand. And that feels pretty cool. I mean, that's getting the shapes, that's getting the feel of the anatomy that I feel like I'm wanting out of it. That's good. I dig it. I dig it. One of the things that I'm having trouble reconciling. Here, let's go ahead and say Control-Shift-D, I guess. And then I want to say, let's come over to Geometry, delete higher, turn off symmetry. Oops. Kind of pull it off to the side. I want to get rid of all of the polygroup pieces except for the head. I'm going to use the head, and let's do some measuring. Okay, let's actually take this, and we'll say let's just align it down here to the bottom, and to her feet, to the floor. And now let's go ahead and create a chain of heads, just to be able to gauge her proportions, right? So if we look at this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 heads tall. If she is going to be 9 heads tall, I think her proportions might need to be changed a little bit. I'm just trying to take a look at this and trying to gauge the arms. Yeah, if I'm looking at the arms right now, I am looking at the arms right now. Let's go ahead and go ahead and grab that. All right, let's say delete hidden. So if we were to come up here and just kind of rotate the arm down, probably put it in a little bit more of a relaxed position. We're getting this sort of thing. It feels like the arms need to be just a smidge longer. Just a smidge. And then the hands feel like they're a little bit small. So I'm curious. And that in the waist feels like it's a little bit high. It still feels a little bit high. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's mask this out. And then Control 1, let's go ahead and grab this. Let's grab just those two subtools and we'll pull it down a little bit. That might be a little bit too much. I'm actually curious too. I mean, the arms go straight out, so it might not be an issue, but I was curious. I might take them and rotate them just a little bit forward because I feel like they're going a little bit back. Okay, let's go ahead and rotate this business. I mean, the model that we use as a base at work has the arms kind of, you know, forward a little bit more, which I've come to really kind of like. But I also kind of want to be able to rig her. So, and you know, since I'm like super new to rigging, I'm very, very base. I keep looking down here, and then I'm looking at my post-it note that says I'm up here, and I need to look up here. Yeah, my skill level as a rigger is insanely not good. Well, I wouldn't say insanely not good. I just don't know how to do it. So a lot of it's just going to come down to me learning how to do rigging. But that's just kind of why I'm trying to simplify as much as possible, you know, keeping the arms as straight as possible, because I feel like maybe by doing that I can streamline my rigging process instead of having to try to oh, hey, look at that. We're gonna have to fix the strap on the bra. But yeah, by doing that, I'm hoping to kind of simplify my whole process. Make it so I can get everything in, get everything done in a fairly simple sort of way, right? Okay, so those are that arm, this arm. Let's grab the hand. In fact, since we're here, I do want to have the hand be its own polygroup as well. So I'm going to say, let's grab this bit here, hide it. So that way we can get a forearm polygroup. Oh, that is so similar in color to that other one. And that's really similar in color to the next one. Let's make it something that stands out. A little bit better. Tried to learn rigging, my head exploded. I'm glad you still have your head, though. It's a good thing to... Don't know how you recover from something like that. It's such a tricky thing to try to figure out, because I mean, there's everything from like constraints and parenting and, you know, how you use your groups, and there's just so much to it. It's crazy. I feel like this is feeling too round on the front and not round enough on the back. Just kind of want to push that back just a smidge. I feel like that's helping out so much. Done mechanical rigging for machines. Okay, let's see. In here, what I want to try to do... Oops. Let's try to get some better definition for the shoulder blades. We're getting some messed up stuff here in the middle. I'm wondering, actually, there's this new tool inside of Subtool. It's a line. I wonder if I were to, like, just for the sake of trying it out, because this is interesting to me. Nope, it won't work like that. Never mind. I was curious if the align would go through and work with the vertices. Hey Serene, how you doing? Long time. Everything is hunky dory. My phone thought I was talking to it. That's funny. That's really funny, actually. It's right here. I'm just trying to find a good balance of pinch versus no pinch to help define this muscle group here. And I feel like this is working pretty well. Where it feels like it's defining that muscle, it's defining that section, but it's not overbearing. I may have to go back and fix. Nope, it looks like the bra strap is just fine for now. Yeah, kind of cruising along there. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. The arm's looking pretty good. Although I still feel like this is caving in right here. Like we've got like a an extra point here, and then it's kind of like caving in. So I'm trying to, let's see if we can get this to work in a way that's congruent with my vision. Okay, this feels like it's coming out too far. It's not creating a very appealing arm shape. Let's see. Let me see. Let's try moving that bicep up just a little bit, like that little peak. Move it up just slightly. Something kind of like that, maybe. That feels better. Oh, it feels better. Yeah, let's kind of add a little bit more roundness here, because that'll help to emphasize the shape of the breasts here. Too bad. So far as the proportions go, I guess I wanted to try to make the hand a little bit bigger, but I want to be careful, because like when you're dealing with female characters, having bigger hands, oops, let's turn on local symmetry, having bigger hands can create an issue. Let's make it like 5% bigger, see what that's like. Another 5% beyond that. That looks pretty good. You want to be careful that you make the hands a size. Thank you so much. I'm having fun with it. It's still a long ways to go before it's, before it's finished, but it's, it is what it is, right? It's fun. It's just fun. In fact, I'm curious if I change the shape of this a little bit. Well, like this piece right here, I'm still not entirely sold on it. It's like I feel like the top edge might be coming up just a little bit too high, and I'm not sure that. But it's like I don't want it to be. I don't know. I still need to work out like the body shapes. I feel like there's still something off about the hips. Otherwise, proportions are looking much better. So that's something that I can take to the bank. I'm going to see. I'm going to try something. Pull this up and in, pull this up, kind of soften that out back here. I'm just trying to kind of push the sense of anatomy here, because I feel like the more I can get that sense of anatomy through this section of the legs and hips, I feel like the more um, the easier it'll be for somebody to connect with her as a character. I think it's just one of those things that, like, getting the anatomy to feel more correct. I think that's feeling cooler to me. It's feeling more appealing. So now I think there's something that I need to do with, like, the lats. I need to do something with the abdominal region here. Let me see. You know, and like part of it is that I don't have that region with any kind of border edge going around it. So that's something that I'm trying to weigh out in my head. I am on my personal stream now, so it could be worthwhile to take this over into Maya and try to work that out, because that might be something that I want to use. Just because of the control that would give me. So having those sorts of edges going around the abdominal region would give me the ability to better define what those ab shapes would be, instead of relying solely on a grid pattern. The grid pattern can get me pretty far, as you can see. I mean, I've been able to get quite a bit out of just a grid pattern, but I'm not able to get quite everything that I want out of it. But I don't know. Let's see if we can push it at all. Oops. So that feels a little bit more anatomical, a little bit more natural. I kind of like that. Let's kind of tweak the way that these thighs are flowing up. Make it feel a little bit nicer. This feels a little bit too large. I'm going to try to minimize that just a little bit. Let me see. Hold on, I need to grab my model real quick. So I try to always keep an anatomy model close by. I have male and female, and they're split écorché like this, where it's like it's half skin, half muscle, exposed muscle. So really super handy. I wanted to kind of get in here and see about getting a little bit different of a shaping in here, just for the sake of having a little bit more relatable of like a lower back. Might be a little bit too. Let's see. Yeah, that feels pretty good. And then I think with this center line, I think I want to have it be a little bit more defined down in this area, because this is an area where we have those back muscles kind of running right down the middle here, and I think that having a little bit more of that definition to that, to that lower crease, I think that that's going to be helpful. I can kind of make it looser up top, kind of have it fade out. So that it only happens really kind of like right in here, but that's working out. That's working pretty nicely. Pull this together. And then I also kind of want to see a little bit of like a surface change happening here in the middle. Okay, oh, that might be a little bit too much. Let's try doing it without softening the mask first. Something like that. I'm trying to make sure she doesn't feel like too muscular. I don't want her to feel muscular. I want her to feel sexy. What software do you use for Retopology? I did this inside of ZBrush. And there are a couple things that I do inside of Maya, because like for instance, ZBrush has the nasty habit of vert welding when I don't want it to. When I'm using ZModeler. So one of the things that I will do is I will take my model as far as I can, inside of ZBrush, and then I'll take it over into Maya and finish things out. Yeah, it works really well. I really enjoy doing it this way because, yeah, I mean it works. I feel like I'm so eloquent today. Let's kind of smooth this out just a smidge, because I feel like those points are too close together. It's going to create too tight of a crease. So I'm just going to kind of ease it out a little. But what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to get a little bit of like a break in the curve. Let's kind of grab this. So this way it's got like the curve from the lats up here up at the top. That's going to come down, and then it's going to have like a shorter curve here, or shorter flat straightness right there. Okay, and then this is going to kind of come out over the hips. So that's working pretty nicely. I think that that's going to be helpful in making the anatomy feel much better. Okay, I'm liking this. Yeah, I actually do have the weld preferences down to 1. Let's see, geometry. I wish that these menus were alphabetized because it'd be so much easier to find things. Geometry, Z-modeler welding tolerance down to 1. Just by default, that's kind of, I think it might actually be default now that I come to think of it. But it's such a crazy thing for me. It's been frustrating, to say the least. But you know, I do also feel like it just works. It's a great tool. It's just it just has that little bit to it that I'm very not in love with. Let's kind of play with those leg muscles just a little bit. That's feeling much nicer. Let's see if we can get some subtle definition to these tendons back here on the back of the knee, because that could be cool. Let's use this loop. Nice. Oh, it's not quite enough though. And I do want to get a little bit more of an apex here. You know what? Let's actually have it come from here. We'll pull it out a little bit over here too, but not a ton. I want it to really mostly come from the inside here. And that'll work. I might actually need to have this knee kind of get a little bit thinner here, just so that it feels a little bit more consistent with the front and back views. I kind of want to get a little bit of like an accent for this bit as well, but it's like, you know what? Let's take this one lower, because I don't want it to be pulling the points from the subdivision instead of the main topology. Let's kind of soften those out to the point there. And then I can take this up a little bit. This is getting a little bit out of hand down here, so let's kind of fix that. There's a, is it 5 by default? Maybe it's just something that I changed already, like a long time ago. It's been a while since I've had to set up preferences on my personal computer. Let's try to cozy those out so that they're a little bit more this and this and this and this. Okay, right here I'm losing a little bit of that, peak. So I gotta come in here. Let's go ahead and soften this out, and then I'll just kind of use my smooth brush to kind of pull that out some. I kind of also want to get a little bit more of like a ridge along the inside of the thigh. Not a ton, but you know, enough for it to be noticeable. Gotta make sure that it's not following everywhere on the model. Let's try this out. Something just super subtle, but it's there, and it kind of helps to create a little bit more of like a light plane there on the front of the thighs. Never thought about doing the hard plane changes the way you do. Thank you for streaming, as always learn new things. Thank you, Kareem. Yeah, I like having fun, and I've learned so much in the time that I've been working at Marvel, that it's been, I feel like it's so much more fun to stream now, because I feel like the things that I've learned can now get perpetuated. And I mean, I try to always share things that I've learned, and share things that I because I grow when I work, and I grow when I share, and it's fun. It's great. I enjoy it. Trying to think now. Oh, I can't breathe. All right. Get another bite of bagel. Ow. Go ahead and soften out those edges at the top. Maybe a little bit overall too, but it's looking pretty good. Right in here, it feels like that's too straight. I kind of want to have it as like a bowed edge. Have this get a little straighter on the outside, maybe from this angle anyway. Like she has some major healthy calves. You know what? Well, she is in heels. Okay, so there are two things that I'm kind of going through and thinking about right now. Her calves. One of the things that I learned recently, I'm pretty sure it was through Anatomy for Sculptors. They shared this image where the calves on a woman are generally longer and thinner, and a man's are generally, short and chunky. Just naturally, like that's just kind of how the anatomy is naturally built. And so I was thinking, like, maybe I should elongate those calves, bring them down, make them a little less chunky. But then I also thought, since she is in high heels, since she is in some sort of elevated heel shoe, her calves are going to be more engaged as a muscle to be able to help her keep balance while she's on those shoes. So technically leaving her with more calf is going to be all right. Plus, I like I like the ins and outs of legs when, you know, when they've got a little bit more calf. So it might be worth taking it down just a little bit so that it's not quite so much. But I think it's worth, I think it's definitely worth having a little bit of that calf, you know. Wait, you were the ZBrush god in the model shop. Where does that put you now? Yep, I finished the muffin. So where does that put you now? Also, so I guess, you know, just as a little bit of, you know, for anybody who doesn't know me, I know Leonard from, you know, like years ago. Like we worked together for a couple of years in the model shop at Imagineering. He's a fantastic ZBrush artist. He's self-taught. You know, he's total stud. Really good. And you know, ZBrush is one of the things that I did some workshops while I was working for Imagineering. So there were a lot of people from the model shop or down in Florida too that I was able to kind of connect with and teach some ZBrush stuff to. Let's give this a little bit of a change here. It's a little bit too straight. My job at Imagineering was kind of a concept modeler. I did all sorts of things, and a lot of my tasks, like I would start off sculpting something really rough, and then we would take it and transition it into being something that was producible, something that we could then manufacture, something that we could put and make into part of rides, static displays in the parks, things like that. It was fantastic. It's still one of my absolute favorite jobs to date. And I miss it a ton. It was such a neat group of people to be working with, because they loved me. They treated me very well. They treated me like a friend, like an asset, and so that was just a fantastic place for me to be. Marvel is much the same way. Currently, I'm at Marvel. I'm working as lead character modeler for a show that I cannot mention yet, sadly. But it's a show, right? It's so cool. I'm so excited. Okay, 9 heads tall. I think she's looking good now. I got her into a good spot. The feet still need some work. It's 11:44. It's almost noon. I'm going to call it a day, though. Here, let's go ahead and rename this 9 heads. Oh yeah. In fact, I can just get rid of this arm. Let's just say delete, because I think it's kind of nice having the extra arm there just to be able to test the length and everything, but we did so much to change the hand. Hey sis, thank you so much. Yeah, it's fun. It was an idea that I came up with last night when I was sketching. I did some drawovers. The original hair that I started off with today is this is how she looked when we started off. She has come such a long way. Jump over to the new one. Let's turn off the heads. Um, yeah, she's hit the gym a few times since this morning. There's been a lot of hand and arm toning. There's been some shaping to the legs. Um, Generally, she feels much more in the realm of what I want her to look like. Um, so she's getting close. She's coming somewhere. Yeah, she's got some nice form. Thanks, Leonard. Yeah, the hair is going to be fun. I wanted to go through and do like a final pass on hair, but I think I'll probably save that for next week or next time I stream, whatever. I've got to think more about like what these forms are, what they, where they come from, what size they are. Because right now this is a little bit ambiguous. Is this, if this is all bangs, or if it's like a chunk of bangs, and then there's like the series of like the back hair. I don't know. It's something I got to go through and kind of refine and figure out. But it's cool. I mean, it's working out, and she's looking good. I mean, she's definitely going in a good direction. I think she's going in the right direction. Yeah. Yeah. So that's where we'll leave her for now. Gosh. Yeah, let's hit save so we don't lose her, because that would just happen to be my luck, wouldn't it? Because right at the end of a stream, it's like you've done something to it, and all of a sudden, oh, I forgot to save. ZBrush crashed. No, no. But yeah. So that's why we save. Okay, we'll call it good. I'm so grateful you guys came. It's always fun to have people here, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. It's the weekend. Enjoy it. Gosh, I'll see you next time I see you. If you guys are interested in finding my links, feel free to go check it out. I've go ahead and drop the stuff in the chat, and here's this is what it opens up. So you find all my different links there. You find my website, my store, all sorts of stuff there. Yeah, cool. That's where we leave her. Again, thanks for coming and hanging out. It's always good to shoot the breeze, and I'll see you next time I see you. Smartest out.